Well, there's the tunnel at the far end of the Kasarani Stadium, from which in just a few moments you will see the finalists in the girls' 5,000 meters race walk, half the distance that the men have just completed. And there they are. And here they come. Some of them went the wrong way there. Let's hope they get it right in the race itself. A lot of them going into that familiar walking style that they adopt, with the short strides and the power being directed via the hips. Quite a few medal contenders in this one. Glenda Morejon of Ecuador leads, a very strong pair from that South American nation. She's the world leader with 21 minutes 16. Her teammate is Paula Torres, who has the second best mark in the world this year from the competing nations. The question mark perhaps against the Ecuadorians may be their lack of international competition experience. They're largely confined to walking in their own nation. There are 26 competitors in all. There is Xiaole Zhang, and we had a Zhang winning the men's race. Here's the lineup. Glenda Morejon is strongly fancied from Ecuador. Ekaterina Gorshenina is a neutral athlete who is also a potential medal hope, and Meryem Bekmez of Turkey is the European under-18 champion. Further down, another neutral athlete, ANA next to the name, Elvira Casanova, and Lena Nanyala of Kenya carries the hopes of the host nation, who got a bronze in the men's race earlier thanks to Dominic Sampson Ndigiti. So I wonder whether we'll get another Zhang on the top of the podium. Yao Zhang of China winning the men's race, and we have Xiaole Zhang of China hoping to win the girls' race. There is Nanjala. She says she was inspired by the heroics of Julius Yego, who was a surprise javelin star from Kenya, Olympic Games silver, I should say, in 2016, World Championship gold in Beijing 2 years ago. He has been the inspiration behind Lena Nanjala, who believes that in events where Kenya are not necessarily traditionally strong, they can still excel, and we saw that, didn't we, in the men's race. Big cheer from the crowd, big smile from Nanjala. Goes to the Matili school. These girls all lined up. There is Paula Torres, one of the two strongly fancied Ecuadorians. She's the second quickest of the two. There is Bekmez, representing probably European hopes, although of course the neutral athletes are Europeans. And Zhang, whose namesake won the boys' race. And the world leader, Glenda Morejon, 17-year-old from Ecuador, 21 minutes and 16 seconds, her personal best. So, 26 walkers lining up for the start of the girls' 5,000 metres race walk. Well, technique, discipline, speed, endurance, all important factors in this race. 13.5 laps of the track at the Kasarani Stadium.
And as they go off and away, you'll see them just past the sin bin area there. And the left of the screen, designated by the cones. And they'll open those out a little bit as well now that they've brought them all together in one group. And for the women's race walk, it's predominantly the same regulations. You can see yellow paddle being raised there. Now that's just a warning. Remember, you're in trouble if you're getting reds, and 3 reds will result in you going into the sin bin. But the significant difference in this 5,000 metre race walk is that if you are sin bin, you are in there for 60 seconds, not 120 that we saw in the boys' 10,000 metres.
Well, in that boys' race, we saw a very early break by a Kenyan, and this is what we are seeing in the women's race as well. Lena Nanjala has decided, with those long legs, to try and force her way to the front there. She is very upright stance with the head tilted back. The arms play a huge part, of course, in providing propulsion forward, and Nanjala, rather like Ndigiti earlier, has decided to set down a marker and go off in front. Ndigiti ended up getting a bronze medal for his efforts. You can see the rest of the field rather more cautious behind 16-year-old Lena Nanjala of Kenya.
Yes, very early stages, but that is a significant break away from the pack, isn't it, from the Kenyans? So, and at the moment, no suggestion of any warning, but she's gone out very fast in that race. They're lining up for the final of the boys' high jump. Let's run through the lineup. Brayton Bull of South Africa there. And he's the world leader this year and a big favourite in this event. His best mark well clear of the rest. De Souza of Brazil, 2:06. We saw Paul's statistics. He's a 2:18 jumper. Eric Portillo of Mexico. It's quite a consistent field, really. A lot of them just over that 2-metre mark, including there Lavsky and then Bender of Germany. Here's the pole. Zandor. He just goes a little higher at 2:08, as does this man. Well, Vroylik, in fact, is 2:02. Here's the other German at 2:08, Ionetu. Broad smiles from him. Vietnamese athlete there, Ngoc Long. He is a real medal contender. 2 meters 10, his personal best. The Kenyan, Evans Kipchirchir. And here's the Bahamian. No Sean A, this is Sean Miller. That's your lineup for the final of the boys' high jump. Gold medal up for grabs then. Boys high jump final lineup, led by the world leader in 2017, Brayton Poole. He's got #1 there. Will he be #1 by the end of this competition? He could come under major threat, though, by the Vietnamese athlete, Ngoc Long.
Meanwhile, they're 10 laps from home in the girls' 5,000 metres race walk, and you can see there that the Kenyan competitor Lena Nanjala, who went off very, very quickly, has been sucked back into that massed group at the head of the field. Very, very little to pick between them. No cautions yet in terms of red cards for loss of contact or bent knee. Just a reminder of the number of things that can go wrong for race walkers. The loss of contact means that the back toe cannot leave the ground until the heel and front has touched down, and the bent knee ruling is that the leg must straighten as it goes down from the point of contact and remain straight. And there are officials around the track who are keeping a very close eye on any transgressions. They will show a red card to any competitor who they feel has transgressed. It has to be 3 different judges, incidentally. You can't have the same judge showing the same athlete 3 red cards. If they get 3, they're into that sin bin. You just saw it at the bottom of your picture there, little rectangle of red and yellow cones. And if they come out of the sin bin and then transgress again, they are disqualified, as we saw with Kumar in the men's race earlier. Nanjala is still in front. Zhang, the Chinese competitor, just nips in front of her. 9 laps to go in the women's walk.
Yes, and Zhang looking rather ominous there as she's made her way to the front, and you can see the Kenyan walker Nanjala has just been consumed a little by the field, and she's very boxed in there now with legs and feet all around her, so maintaining her rhythm is going to be difficult in that packed field behind her. Zhang, well, she's got some daylight, and she's just putting her foot down a little bit. De Orbeta has gone with her, and she looks very comfortable, doesn't she, on the left-hand side there. And there's Torres in the cap and the blue vest, who's just eased past them all, and the shorter figure of Torres just goes into the front. Chasing pack there, led by Gaida, and they're at 1,600 metres now in this 5,000 metres race walk. And it's a relatively clean race at the moment. We've seen a few yellow paddles issued, but so far not one red paddle has been brandished for either a bent knee or a losing contact infringement in this 5,000 metres race. And they're all really tight together as well. I just fancied whether Zhang might be leading a little bit of a charge away, but with plenty of time to go, she's sat back into the field, which for the moment is led by Torres of Ecuador, one of the top performers this year. Has walked 21.59, likely to have been an altitude performance. The official world leading time is held by Casanova at 22 minutes 11, and Casanova is in the field, remember, walking as a neutral athlete.
So the 2 Ecuadorians attempting to control the race, but no real breaks as yet. The Kenyan Nanjala is still there. Rachel de Orbeta of Puerto Rico has also maintained a position towards the front of that pack. Look at Nanjala there on the left-hand side of your picture, who gets big support on that particular stretch of seating where there are hundreds and hundreds of school children enjoying a day out at the athletics, historically being staged in a global competition for the first time ever in Kenya. And fittingly, the Kenyan goes out in front again. Lena Nanjala decides it's time to kick on, and the crowd respond.
Yes, she may have got a yellow card just on the way round that bend there, so she may have just got a warning as she accelerated away from the field. and they're bunching up a bit behind her again. Torres is just using those arms there to muscle her way through, and in fact Nanjala, after that little burst and possibly the warning, just again sits back in the field, and Torres goes back to the front with Morejon, fellow countrywoman, alongside her. Bekmez is also there, the Turkish walker who has done 22 minutes 5 seconds this year indoors. 7 laps to go in this girls' final. It's the 5,000 metres race walk, and we've got a really good race on here, as Zhang, you see, just makes a little move, goes wide on the outside, number 1070 with a white cap and the red vest. Here comes a warning, and I think it may well have just gone to Zhang as she put on that little burst around the outside. But yellow paddles, as much as they are a warning, don't carry any official sanction in themselves, so there is no major concern, but it just means that the judges are obviously going to be keeping a close eye on them. But we are still without any red paddles to be brandished, which is quite surprising at this stage of the race.
There are 10 athletes in this leading group, several of whom we were talking about prior to the race as potential medal contenders. We look back down the field, some of them getting a little bit left behind now. The pace of it is very difficult. The sun is out, it's much hotter now. Tony mentioned earlier how quickly it heats up here. It goes up 10 degrees in a very short space of time. So here are the leaders, led by the tall figure of Zhao Zhang of China. Torres and Morejon, the two Ecuadorians, are in there too, and they've left a couple more behind, so it's beginning to thin out a little bit. You can see Chalarca there of Colombia just beginning to lose pace with those leaders, and Torres has slipped back as well, and so has Nanjala, the Kenyan. So it is now 7 of them looking to be contesting.
And in fact,
Nanjala,
well, we have an update, John, here, that Nanjala is actually now on 3 reds. But I'm not sure if our technology is right on that.
She's not in the sin bin. I'm looking across.
And yet our official scoring system at the moment is suggesting she's on 3 reds.
Well, she may be pulled across once they get to the crown of the circuit.
Indeed, once she gets back round. So Nanjala's medal hopes are probably now over, because she will face 60 seconds in the sin bin when she makes her way back round and into the home straight. So 3 reds. So they must have been brandished pretty quickly together.
Here are the leaders, 7 of them now. It's Morejon who's gone to the front. Zhang is now back in 4th.
No teamwork now for the Ecuadorians, because Torres has slipped back alarmingly in the field. 2 Chinese still in there. Let's watch Nanjala then. She'll come round towards the home straight, and the officials are waiting ominously for her, and they are now directing her towards the sin bin. So at 3,000 metres, 5 laps to go, the Kenyan finds herself in the sin bin, and she will have to wait there now for 60 seconds, which will see her slip right down through the field.
Doesn't want to break her rhythm. She's still walking around, as the leading pack is now 5, still led by Glenda Morejon, the fastest walker in the field this year. But up on her shoulder and beyond her now is Meryem Bekmez, who won the European under-18 crown and also took part in the under-20 10-kilometer Euro Race Walking Cup, so she's got bags of experience. Casanova is also there, so we've got the real quality walkers out in front now. Zhang is still with them, but it's Morejon and Casanova, followed now by Bekmez.
Casanova has the official world leading time statistically for this year of 22 minutes 11 seconds 0.7, but there have been quicker marks recorded by the Ecuadorians. Among them, the girl at the front there, Morejon. And it's now 4. And it's just starting to break up a little bit. They went through the last 1,000 meters in just over 4 minutes, having done 5 minutes for the first split between 1,000 and 2,000. So the pace has gone a little quicker, and that's our leading group there. 4 laps to go, led by the Ecuadorian Morejon, ahead of Casanova of a neutral vest for this competition. And then it's Bekmez, who had a yellow card warning a few moments ago, the Turk, who is sitting there in 3rd. And then look out for the Chinese walker, Zhang, who has been in and around that leading group since the outset. And can she hang on to them?
Well, Morejon has picked up a red card in the midst of all that. She's the first of the front runners to have done so. It was for loss of contact, but she is still out in front, and unless she picks up 2 more, she should be in contention with these 4 now. It looks like 3 from these 4 to take the medals. We have a South American, 2 Europeans and an Asian. Morejon just holding off Bekmez, who will celebrate her 17th birthday on the last day of this month. This will be a decent early present for her if she can bring back a medal. Mizginay, of course, of Turkey, sensationally winning the 100 meters for that nation. There's the confirmation of the front 3. Zhang is also there. We can't ignore her, tall figure in the white cap at the rear of the quartet as they come down with 3 laps to go.
And Morejon is the leader. Bekmez of Turkey in 2nd. Morejon, remember, with the 1 red card infringement, but she will need to accrue 3 before she's put in peril and put into the sin bin. The other athletes all completely clear at the moment, running, walking very tight rope, but not having any infringements, just the odd yellow warning for them. Morejon leads them round. Always marked, of course, in the walk, the amount of lapping that goes on, and there were athletes finishing some 10 minutes after the winners in the boys 10,000 meters race walk. And Morejon, well, completed the move to the water. She's got the bottle out, and she's managed to just push away. And you can see now that Zhang, the Chinese walker, is starting to fade away. She's on the right of the picture there, the white cap, and she just can't keep up with this pace, which has got quicker. And it's Morejon and Bekmez and Casanova.
18 minutes, 17.18 seconds at 9,000 meters, and it is now a front 3. Can Morejon of Ecuador hold on? Casanova, the neutral athlete, on her shoulder, and you just wonder whether the experience of Mariam Bekmez might come to bear. The Ecuadorians haven't competed very much outside their home nation, which is at high altitude, of course, on the Andean range in the northwestern corner of South America, but it's very, very difficult to separate these 3 at the moment.
Yeah, they did the last 1,000 meters in 4 minutes 25. So the pace going up. Now, can Bekmez They go past the Kenyan, who remember was Sinbind. Bekmez just staying in touch there, the much shorter figure of behind Casanova, but around the same kind of build and height as the current leader, Morejon of Ecuador. Morejon, 21 minutes 16. 600 meters to go. There's been another red card brandished further down the field, but it's again a race short of red cards, just a few yellow warnings. And Casanova now strikes for the front. There's confirmation of the cards. Nanjala, the only athlete, Sinbin. Morejon has one, and she's the only athlete sanctioned so far among the leaders. And it's this front three as they prepare to come down to the bell.
Led at the moment by Elvira Casanova. Great name, and it'll be a romantic story if she can win it unattached as an athlete here, running for neutrality. There's the bell, and they are 400 meters from home, but we're no closer to knowing who will come home first.
Well, this race is on, and it all comes down to 400 meters. After 4,600 meters of tactical, grueling walking. And Casanova is just passed for a moment, because here comes the Ecuadorian Morejon. And Bekmez also had passed her, but they're just exchanging the lead at the moment between these three. They will be the ones on the podium, barring any late disqualifications. Remember, the chief judge can do that in the last 100 meters if there's a major infringement. But it's Morejon in front at the moment, with the number 4 on her left thigh. And Casanova trying to make a move, and Bekmez, the Turk, is there as well. Bekmez right on the shoulder of Morejon inside the last 200 meters of this race, and Bekmez is going for the front and is trying to pull away. They've got to get past someone there as they lap another athlete from further back down the field. Casanova's losing touch. It could have to be bronze for the neutral athlete, but Morejon goes back to the front, and here comes Bekmez as well. It's shoulder to shoulder inside the last 100 meters. They've got to keep their techniques right here. The race is right on. The judges are watching carefully, and they are neck and neck as they come to the line in this 5,000 meters final. Bekmez, Morejon up to the line. This is going to be so close, and Morejon finally breaks away, and she crosses the line first in the 5,000 final. And Bekmez is beaten to second. Casanova gets the bronze in third. They will have watched that last 100 meters very, very closely indeed, as those two went side by side down the home straight. And Morejon crossed the line first. And look at what it's taken out of some of them. Zhang, who was up there for so long, comes in as well. What a performance from these girls, and the tears for Morejon. Well, it was a real battle in that last 100 meters or so with Bekmez. And it's just worth remembering at this point that in that last 100 meters, the chief judge will be watching very, very closely to confirm there's no infringement. But the victory is going to Morejon of Ecuador. She's the world under-18 champion in the 5,000 meters race walk.
Well, she could barely get off the track as she came over. She's totally overcome by the emotion of it, and was helped to her feet by one of the St. John ambulance volunteers, who do such a fantastic job, particularly with these grueling events, with these competitors being so young. Such is the quality, you forget how young they are. But there is Glenda Morejon of Ecuador, their first medal of the championship. She's wiped the tears away, and finally there is the smile of victory. And she wants an Ecuadorian flag to parade around the track in her victory lap. Well, in fact, she's disappearing away. I thought she was going to do a lap of honour, but of course there are so many other athletes still completing their races
Just see Torres there, her fellow countrywoman has just come in. She was up among the leading pack for some time, but eventually faded away. Others still coming across the line, including Garcia, the Spaniard there.
I just wonder whether Torres is aware of the fact that her countrywoman has won. I'm sure she'd have glanced up at the giant screen. There is the Turkish flag being held aloft by Meryem Bekmez. Made a terrific effort to try and just steal gold in the final 50 meters or so. It was a terrific battle between her and Morejon, but Morejon just had enough left in the tank to get herself in front and take the tape in first position. There's the Kenyan.
Yes, indeed, this is Nanjala. She was the only athlete to be sinned in 3 red cards in that race, and so she finishes down the field, but no doubt she could take something away from the fact that she was among the leading contenders for a long time. Both Morejon and Bekmez received red cards, but just the one, both for losing contact. But I thought what was just so interesting to see is how close the chief judge got to them in that last 100 meters. Remember that key line in the regulations is that the chief judge has the ability to outright disqualify an athlete if they breach the rules in that last 100 meters, and that was why he got so close, because it was neck and neck, side by side, that wanted to make sure that they did not break out of their stride pattern, and Morejon crossed the line first and took gold.
Yeah, it's a good rule, because it is in that home straight, as we saw in that race, that the discipline can go in the desperation to get in front, and it would be heartbreaking for anybody to miss out on a medal if one of their fellow competitors were to gain an unfair advantage, and that is why there is extra scrutiny in the home straight. Some of the walkers are still continuing to come home. There are 3 of them still out on the track. There's one right at the top of your picture you can see, who is just coming into the home straight now. Takes extraordinary reservoirs of strength just to complete the 5,000 meter course, and we should applaud one and all. Outstanding performances from everybody, but most notably from Glenda Morejon, who is the world champion.
Well, let's take a little look back at some of the key moments of this race. Off they went, and Torres on the right, the Ecuadorian, was fast, but there was a story of another Ecuadorian as the race would unfold. But of course there was a strong start by Nanjala, the Kenyan. She actually broke away from the field early on. She would then be consumed by the rest of the chasing pack, and she would also receive 3 red cards, which would see her as the only athlete taken to one side and forced to sit out a penalty of 60 seconds, and that of course ended her medal hopes at this stage. Of the 2 Ecuadorians, Morejon on the right there, Torres on the left, was going pretty well. That was effectively the end for Nanjala, and then we reached the climax, and it's Morejon and Bekmez and Casanova who were the 3 heading for the podium. But the question was, as we went right into the finale of the race, who would get it? Look at the chief judge there, blue jacket, white cap, keeping an eye very close, and Morejon found that extra bit of pace, and she gets the gold. And you can see just what it meant to the Ecuadorian girl.
This is the 5,000 meter race walk. Wimbo Kupeana Nishani. The medals will be presented by Sylvia Barlak, IAAF Council member. Bronze medalist, as an authorized neutral athlete, Elvira Casanova. Silver medalist, representing Turkey, Meryem Bekmez. gold medalist and under-18 world champion, representing Ecuador, Glenda Morejon. Please stand for the national anthem of Ecuador.
Wimbo wa taifa wa Ecuador.
Your medalists for the 5,000 meter race walk.
So the three girls celebrating the medals in the 5,000 meters race walk. Glenda Morejon of Ecuador in the center.
5,000 meter gold medalist from Ecuador, Glenda Morejon, pues enhorabuena, oro en tu primera competición internacional al nivel mundial. ¿Cómo te sientes ahora mismo?
Bueno, pues muchas gracias por la entrevista, ¿no? Pues me siento, la verdad, muy contenta, ya que junto con mi entrenador y mi escuela de atletismo trabajamos bastante fuerte para esta competencia y se estaba previsto una medalla de bronce, pero a ubicarnos entre las 5 mejores, pero la verdad me sentí muy bien, el clima estuvo bueno y pues al final se definió todo y pues di todo de mí y estoy muy contenta.
Estás muy contenta, pero estás muy emocionada también. ¿Y eso por qué? ¿No lo esperabas?
Pues la verdad no le esperaba la de oro, pero sí una medalla. Y pues sí me siento la verdad muy contenta, ya que el trabajo que hemos venido realizando se ha dado frutos y nada más me queda agradecer al apoyo de mis padres y de mi familia y no tengo más.
¿Y están aquí apoyando?
No, ellos me estaban viendo desde Ecuador.
¿Tienes un mensaje para ellos?
Que los amo mucho y gracias por inculcarme en este deporte.
¿Y qué podemos esperar de ti en el futuro?
Bueno, pues la verdad, mi mayor objetivo ahora es seguir entrenando para clasificar a Juegos Olímpicos de Tokio 2020, pero no solamente estar ahí y participar, sino también pelear por una medalla.
Pues enhorabuena, guapa. Chao.